everyone. My name is Akemie Jones, and I am one of the co-leaders of the Global Leadership Exchange Women in Leadership Collaborative. I am so excited to be here to interact with all of you and just really see how this podcast really takes off with all of our collaboration. So, who am I outside of my title? So, I am a mother. I am a wife. I am what you would call a budding camper, right? I'm learning to really get in touch with nature. I absolutely love food, so I'm very much a foodie. And I'm also an advocate for equity and an advocate for people, right? I very much believe that we are humans working alongside humans and serving humans, regardless of what field of work you're in. We are in it together, whether or not we recognize it. So I find a lot of passion in working with individuals, teaching and like providing tools and resources to ensure that individuals get to be successful in whatever aspect of their lives they choose to be in. Tell me I'm a counselor without telling me I'm a counselor, right? And so, what are some of the lessons that I have learned the hard way about being a leader? And I would say probably the biggest thing that comes to me is that I learned early on that some of my skill sets and strengths that brought me to a certain point in my career, those same skill sets and strengths didn't necessarily serve me well in the second part or the next chapter of my career. And I had to learn how to adapt and be open and rehumble myself and make sure that I too was receptive to change and feedback and an understanding that growth isn't a it's not a straight ladder, right? It's not a straight process, and it's not always going to look how you want it to look, right? Leadership doesn't always look how you think it would look or how you'd like it to look, but really learning to embrace it and really have a good support system and uh, tools and resources along the way to help me be successful. So, what really excites me the most about launching this podcast is being able to connect with all of you, right? Hearing your perspectives, our perspectives, how we're going to learn from one another, and how learning from one another will create all of these. You're going to hear me say tools and resources a lot because that's really my thing. So, creating these tools and resources, these tangible things that we can take back to our respective either places of work or our personal lives and really utilize them and see changes happen. And if by chance we could also learn something different. So right, we might take something back. We're like, well, I thought it would work this way. We take it back to the drawing board, and then you're coming back with a completely different perspective or idea of how to improve it. So I'm really looking forward to the collaboration. I think it's awesome that we're all spread out over this wonderful globe that we live in. And so there's just so much that we can learn from one another. And I'm really excited to do that with all of you. So I'm hoping that you tune in for all of the episodes, that you participate and provide feedback, and that we continue to grow this collaborative network that we have. So looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
Hi, my name is Andrea Mellalieu, and I am the CEO of an organization called Arcus Community Resources. Here in Canada, just outside of Vancouver, BC, we provide care to folks with medical complexity and behavioral needs. Our youngest is 4 months old, and our eldest person served is in their 70s. Outside of my job title, I am a mother and a wife and a very devoted sister and daughter. I am also mom to 3 dogs, and I'm a distance runner. So, something I'd like folks to know about me is that I'm training for my 6th full marathon next year in Paris. A lesson that I've learned the hard way that I'm grateful for is that growth for any reason is very expensive by every measure. And service to folks in need for very valid reasons comes at a tremendous cost to the people serving, and that growth has to be measured in a way that contemplates the people that will be providing the care. And lastly, what I hope folks will take away from listening to this podcast is a real sense of camaraderie and perhaps some non-monetized tips and tricks, best practices, pointers. At this stage in my career, I'm increasingly skeptical of monetized advice, and I'm always eager to hear from people who are doing work like mine around the world and who are seeking the type of support that can only come from deep, meaningful relationships. And as my friend Akemie in North Carolina says, real recognizes real. So I hope that folks take that away from this podcast, that they will see the real in us and in themselves and want to contribute.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women in Leadership Collaborative with the Global Leadership Exchange. My name is Joy Brunson-Nsubuga, and I am one of the co-leaders for this collaborative. I'm excited that you have joined us, and hopefully you will continue to join us over the next year. A little bit about me. I live in North Carolina, and what do I do outside of my title? I am a minimalist. I am a mother. I also really love to travel, and I really like clothes, which is, a conflict with me being a minimalist. But it is something that I really enjoy doing. And lastly, I really like to sleep. If you ask my children, the number one thing they will say, "Mommy likes to sleep." It's just something that is important to me. I am excited to be embarking on this leadership journey with you. One of the things that I have learned about being a leader, I've learned the hard way, but I know it now, is the importance of having a team. Early on in my career, I thought that having a team, having strong leaders working with me was something that was a threat, and I felt threatened by it. And I was challenged on it, and it was so important. And now that I have such a consistent leadership team with me, individuals that I can count on, it has been such a game changer to not only my ability to lead, but just how much we are able to get done at my organization. I am excited to be a part of this podcast that we will be launching. I am excited to be a part of the Women in Leadership Collaborative. I'm really hoping that throughout this process, we will be able to learn from each other, gain knowledge from experiences, be able to connect, and really build some lifelong relationships and mentorships throughout this process. I am excited to be here. And again, thank you for joining us.